to the next presenter to give us more information from his experience. That's over 15 years practice various form of agriculture experts within Nigerian landscape. Following from early exposure of international best practice in Nigeria between then and now, has gained a number of insight into the many gaps that commonly go unnoticed, limiting our collective success rate in reducing efficiently and profitably in the long run. So now we will welcome Dr. Abdul Rahman Lawal to lead consultant to give his experience more about the hydroponic system. Dr. Abdurrahman, are you here?
Oh, yes, I am. Hi, good morning to us all.
Good morning.
Okay, so give me a few minutes while I share.
Okay.
Okay, I think, second, it's being shared already. Do I have the permission to share now? Again, good morning to us all. It's been a very interesting experience being here, having to learn from other colleagues of mine here. Especially discuss on hydroponics. I think I'm the one who was supposed to discuss on the reality check, for doing the hydroponics farm. And in as much as we are in this system where, food hydroponic system is a very, very interesting system, and it's something that it's worth discussing, experimenting on in the case of the situation we all are in. So like I said, my conversation is supposed to give us some sort of reality check in as much that I'm supposed to be discussing the risk management procedures of just identifying the risk and how to mitigate against them when we are actually having an hydroponic farm system. Okay, so I think we've already discussed the definitions of what hydroponic means, and I'll probably just want to quickly chip in something to say that there's a difference between the hydroponic, the aquaponics, and then the aeroponics. I mean, there are a couple of them like that. But of course, in as much as we're discussing about using the water system, to actually grow crops, so it means that if we are discussing about the risk identified with them, then we are actually also thinking about, what are the things that we have to watch out for, while we actually have this system being developed. I'll probably want to also discuss this from the primary levels, where we just have where we're in school, we used to do this experiment thing, like they will tell us to come and grow beans, grow up a couple of, can actually grow things. That's just the basic foundation of all of these things. And they all have their micronutrients in them. However, because we are growing in a very advanced system, so I'll probably just want to define this thing as well. When you're using a hydroponic system, what happens is this, gives us a faster growth, higher yield, more efficient use of water and nutrients, and the ability to grow plants in areas where poor soil quality or limited spaces are available. And I think that's bottom line of what we have been because going in urban area. So what you could be doing in 2 rooms is what probably someone will be doing in 1 hectare. In the big advantage of that, the importance of the risk management in hydroponics, identifying the potential risk, and then the proactive strategies to actually mitigate against them. And I think by this, we should be armed with how to prepare effectively to develop a proper, actually how it's developed. And because it's closer to the market, So, right. So that would help us evaluate the operational efficiencies. That is, now it's one thing to actually have the systems, one thing to have the technical know-how, everything that is needed, how to measure the pH and all of those things. Now it's just a way of bringing all these things to front, to see that we can actually run this thing efficiently, and then a checklist alongside, and then of course protect the environment, protect the investment, increasing resilience to unexpected events. This will be discussing coming pages, and then compliance to regulations, and then improving the market. Now, speaking of improving the market, one of the things that what this risk management also does is this, like, it helps us to, beforehand, before starting anything, also identify where the potential markets really lie. One of the big challenges that most of our farmers have is actually grow and they begin to market. Whereas by having a proper risk management system, you'd have been able to identify where your market really lie. And so by so doing, you're able to actually begin to really identify what could have been the challenges in between, having that market and then what exactly it is that actually happen. If you understand what it means by risk, risk just things that risk are the things that are, doesn't mean it's going to go wrong. Of course, there are ways of measuring the risk, the severity of the risk, because these are charts that, it's quite technical in that area. But for the sake of this conversation, so this
yes, please
suffice.
Why will you allow her?
So when we're talking about the risk, I would like to break it down into three. Talking of the so identify the risk, I would like to break it down just into three major risk factors, which is the environmental risk, operational risk, and then the financial risk. And by saying this, so I'll start with the environmental risk, which says one, we have to be sure that our location is appropriate. Sometimes we are in an environment where doesn't mean that, because the danger doesn't mean it can't be done. It only means that you identify them, and then probably actually ideal for us to use. The hydroponic system is very important, and then knowing that you are close to the facility, you are close to probably water, a very hygienic water source. You have you're close to the market, so you have someone that can actually help you fix it, because it's something that most of us actually don't take care of. Having abused over 2 hectares of hydroponic farm that came pouring with the wind, and just as they're about to, they've already planted, right? So the rain just, took everything out of the whole farm. It created a very huge setback to the farm, right? So sometimes it's always good to, there's a lot of wind, there's a lot of sun, there's a lot of rain, there's a lot of shrubs. Identify what the possible risks are in your area, and then knowing how to act itself is just the possibility of it happening. And because you've identified the possibilities of these things happening, you can actually protect against them. And of course, it just also works with the extreme weather. And then we're talking about the operational risks. This operational risks actually now begins to talk about the main operations, the things that, once we are in operation, what are the things that can happen? Of course, sometimes the big risk, sometimes you could have planted that, like that, this kind of crop is not exactly ideal for them. Also knowing that the availability of the inputs, in the sense of, like, that sometimes, we make the mistake of not understanding the actual requirements, to run a proper hydroponic farm when it comes to, like, the fertilization of the system, sometimes how to kill the pest, how to protect against the pest, how to ensure that there's a balance in the pH, how to ensure that there's a balance in the nutrient supplies, how to ensure that you're not over supplying and you're not under supplying. how to know which exact nutrients is good for this time. So those kinds of risk is something that, if you know. Okay, so I actually, with the hydroponic system, is a bit safer if it's done rightly, in the sense of like by the design of the system itself is kind of protective, because you have trapdoors and all of those kinds of things. But by adventure, you don't have those kinds of things. This is when you actually be need to expose your systems to a lot of pests. Sometimes even chemical toxicity, sometimes, or probably using the wrong lights, using the wrong tools, using the wrong substrates, so that some of the risks that might actually happen, while you're actually having these kinds of a system. And of course, you could also have equipment failures, where, I mean, if you're running an hydroponic farm, sometimes one of the big things that makes it costly sometimes is the reliance on power supply. So imagine that you've actually set up the whole system, and then you actually begin to have epileptic power supply without a backup. So those are the kind of things that actually happen, and things like that. So you always want to be sure that you don't want to have like equipment failures and things like that. And of course, so your supply chain, this is like you don't want to grow and then having your system, because when you're running a standard, right, it's not some trading, right? And then you also have to be sure that you have the right funds, available to run the system efficiently. Because by not having the financial system, ideal, you might actually run into some sort of, starting off without knowing that because sometimes people just focus more on the equipment and things like that, not knowing how regulated system to run the farm efficiently. And then, of course, these are ways of mitigating against them. So I mean, in between of what I've said, I think I've mentioned a bit of how to mitigate against them, just to save some time. But this is exactly how to mitigate against some of these risks that are involved. So I think so. These are also some of the tools and facilities that. So I think with this, I've been able to share some of the risks in providing a very good hydroponics system. I've been told that I have very limited time to actually use presentation. So
Hello, sir. Dr. Brahman, are you there? Hello? Hello, sir. Okay, I guess he's having